Happy New Year and welcome back to the Sip Session. I am super excited today to have our first guest of the year. She has had an amazing year. Top 4 finalist of the National Country Rising Contest. She's been playing festivals and even getting some radio play. And she's also here today to talk about her latest single, Cheap Cigarettes. So please welcome Makinna Givens.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yes, so how are you feeling? You also just played Winter Roots Festival.
Yes, yeah, that was
just
a really
last
good
weekend.
time. Yes, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm very tired now. I got home at 3 a.m. so it was. I took a lot of naps after that, so I'm feeling a little bit better. But it's been go lately, prepping for release time too. So it's a heavy season, but I'm excited to do something that like isn't playing music, but is people. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm excited to talk to people again because I've been work mode, so this is nice.
Yeah, well, we're so happy to have you.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on the show. So looking back on last year, was there ever a moment for you that was just, wow, like, holy crap, this is happening to me?
When I got that email for like the top 4 thing, because in all reality, I wasn't going to apply. Like I saw it and I was like, oh, I'll never get picked. So I was like, I'm not going to do this.
Like, we're our worst critics. We always do that to ourselves, right? Yeah.
And I was like, oh no. And then it kept, like, they ran a lot of ads for it. Yes. So it kept popping up in my Facebook and my Instagram and stuff. And I was like, the last day before, I was like, oh, crazier things have happened. You know, I'll just apply. And I did. And then I forgot I applied because it's usually quite a bit of time after if you do get a call for those things. And sometimes you don't get a call and you see it announced. You're like, oh, wasn't me. But, you know, but then I got that email and I was like, sorry? I had to reread it a couple times. I was like, no, you're pulling my leg. Like, don't get my hopes up like that. That's crazy. But no, it was a great time. And then that led to getting on stage at Luck Now, you know, like that traction and stuff. So it was pretty surreal. And like, I honestly feel like I'm just taking it in now. Yeah. It's like the first time to breathe and getting your next song ready. So you're like, oh, wow. Like a lot has happened.
Kind of just steamrolled everything for you.
Yeah. You almost don't have time to think about it because you're trying to make sure that you make the most of it when it's happening. So it's, it's been crazy. It's crazy. It's surreal is a good word for it.
Yes. But. I mean, you've been called a rising star. And even a force to be reckoned with.
Well, that's a lot. That's some pressure, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say, I don't mind it. You know, what kind of like what is that? Like, what does that kind of recognition mean to you as an independent artist?
That means a lot to me, right? Because as an indie artist, you're doing like 10 people's jobs at all time. Yeah. For no pay most of the time. You know, you got to pay your dues. That's part of it. But it can get really overwhelming. And you get lost in the sauce, as I've heard some people say it, like you miss deadlines or stuff because you're in one realm and then going back and forth. But to have somebody say something that kind about you it's almost reassuring to yourself. You're like, hey, I'm doing the right thing. Like I'm on the right track. Yeah. So no, it was really nice. It was pretty grounding. So
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And speaking of all that, let's talk about your newest single.
Yeah,
Cheap Cigarettes.
That's why we're here.
That is why we're here. I would love to hear the story behind that, what inspired it. So let's start at the beginning.
Yes, so I wrote this song pretty quickly. It's one of those ones that I find all my best songs, they come out like I've been holding on to it for a while, and then as soon as I write it, it's just like word vomit.
Yeah. That's good though. It's great, right? You want that.
Yeah, but you kind of know that trend that was going around where everybody was dyeing their hair red.
Yes.
Okay, and it's kind of like still going on. But as somebody who grew up a ginger, life was rough, okay? People were not always kind. And there was, like, adults were always really kind. So, like, as a kid, like, you're kind of a red flag, no pun intended, of, like, you heard about Kick a Ginger Day?
Yeah, no, yes.
That is real.
Yes.
That is real. I don't know which. It's real. And subsequently followed by Kiss a Ginger Day, which was like my worst nightmare.
Yeah,
I was
like,
ew, cooties.
No, thank you. Yeah.
But yeah, so you kind of get like a complex about it
a
bit, and you're like, oh man, I have red hair. And then all of a sudden you're adult and people are like,
almost,
I love your hair.
It almost turns.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're like,
my best friend has red hair, natural, and it's like, yes, it turns. Like, and yeah, I get it.
So it's like definitely become 90% of my personality. I'm not gonna lie. But basically, back to that, when you're in high school and stuff, you're wishing you had anything but red hair. Right. So in the chorus,
blonde hair.
It kind of talks about that, blonde hair and blue eyes, because you're trying to picture somebody that has everything that you don't like, that you wish you had. So you're kind of imagining the worst scenario is somebody moving on with something that you can't even stand next to. Do you know what I mean? Those opposites are so
absolutely
different. So yeah, it's kind of inspired by that, and then it's also kind of inspired by, Jolene is a red-haired woman stealing somebody's man, and I'm like, oh my god, the charisma. I don't have that. That is not
the opposite.
If you meet most redheads, we're like really shy and we're really like, we're also like a little self-conscious. So to see that, you're like, no, Dolly Parton, all respect. You got it going. But yeah, no, so it was inspired by that, and a good romantic breakup song. We always love those.
We do.
Love it.
Yes. Yeah. Is there a particular lyric in the song? I know you just touched on the one that kind of like a personal one for you, but is there one that you're especially proud of, or you feel like that lyric specifically tells the story?
Yeah, in the bridge section, I think bridge. Wow, English is hard today.
That's okay.
Bridge sections are my favorite parts of songs.
Mine too,
because it's that like either we get really like low and we get here's the big confessional part of the song, or here's the uplifting part, and it says do you love her, wait, no, don't tell me, which you're kind of like, I want to know but I don't want to know because it's going to really hurt, and then it's followed by have I met her. So that visual of like, did you introduce me to her, and like I've met her and everybody else knows but me. Oh. So I really like, that's my favorite
powerful
line.
Stuff. Yes.
Well,
no, that's a good one. What about this song made it the one that you're like, this is the one I'm going to release next? Like, this is my next single.
How I feel while I'm singing it. So on a live show, this song is like somebody called it vocal gymnastics. Okay. So it's down here, it's over here. We're doing tumbles, rolls, and flips, and that's how it feels vocally to sing it. Yeah. But the energy that comes out of singing this song, especially in the chorus belts and stuff like that, when you sing it, you can feel other people feeling it. Yeah. So that is a very cool thing. I was like, this song's got to come out next.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
It is really great.
Thank you.
And yeah, like I love it. Thank you. Did writing this song make you see relationships or those certain emotions differently? Because you talked about, the personal story growing, like this song, like the stories of it go way back. But then also you just mentioned, that relatable relationship piece too. So yeah, do you see relationships and emotions differently after writing this song, or?
Yeah, I definitely, writing a song like this makes you confront things about yourself. So like, when sometimes you're not realizing it and then you see it on paper and you're like, yikes. Yeah. Whoa, we got to make some changes. So we got to love ourselves a little bit more.
Right.
So I think it actually made me a lot stronger. And there's that stage of independence that comes after writing something like that. So you're just kind of like, no, I can fill like all my own needs. You have to relearn how to kind of get that footing of independence. And I think once you have it in that sense, it's very hard to be willing to ever risk losing it again. So I think that's definitely changed my perspective on it from that
that's
way.
Really
positive.
Yeah, positive and beautiful answer.
Yes.
So something I always love asking artists is why music? Why music? Why songwriting?
That is a great. Wow.
Well, okay.
That's a big one.
I'm glad you like that question. Do you remember when music maybe stopped being something that you enjoyed and started being something that you were like, no, this is something I have to do?
Yes. So I think the first time where I actually realized, I was like, whoa, people can do that for a job, was, do you remember Justin Bieber's Never Say Never movie?
Do I ever?
Oh my God.
Actually, I was just singing the song the other day.
Yes, okay. So, it's a Canadian staple.
Yeah. Bieber over here. Love him.
Oh, me too. But I remember in the theater watching it and just being like dead silent for the first time in my entire life. Like no words, just really like mouth open, like in awe.
Yeah. Got you.
And I was like, whoa, like I feel like I am gonna feel like that. Do you know what I mean? Like you feel a kindred with kindred spirits, or like you feel like that's
connection.
Yes, yeah. And that was the first time probably that seed was planted. But when I started writing, I was 15 years old. And before that, I was like, oh, I want to be on stage. Like I need to do something with that kind of energy. And I went like crying to my mom. I was like, I don't know how to write a song. Like I can't be a music artist if I don't songwrite, because I really do think you need a little of both. You know?
A little bit of both for sure.
It's like some people don't agree with that, but I'm just like, you know, artist means create to me. Sure. So like that kind of thing. But I was like, I can't write a song. Like I'm never gonna make it. You know, it's over before it's begun. And she goes, well, have you ever tried? And I was like, no, I haven't. So then I went down and I wrote my first song. And my mother will never tell me something that like is untrue. Like she won't lie to me. If something's terrible, she's gonna tell me. So she's a very good compass.
That's a good mom.
Yes, right? I don't
good mom right
no
there.
Yes men. We don't want those.
Yeah.
But she was like, hey, that's pretty good. And I was like, whoa. Okay.
Mom sign
of approval. Okay. And then like a week later I went on stage in front of my entire student body in high school, which could have been bad. Could have been very bad.
Hey, been there.
But, I felt it and I was hooked. I was like, this is it.
This is the time.
This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
We got no better feeling than that. So,
for sure.
Went full throttle.
And again, it's the recognition too, right? Like,
right.
So
yes.
The reassurance, I should say, not recognition. The reinsurance, right? You do this, and then people are like, "Whoa!" And then you're like, "Okay,
you enjoy this?
It's not just my mom. It's not just me, you know."
For sure.
When you sit down to write now, what usually comes first for you? Is it lyrics or is it a melody? A little bit of both?
It definitely changes. I think on the mood I'm in, because sometimes I'll be like just messing around on guitar, and then like the melody kind of comes out, and I call it like mumble jumble. So I'm basically singing gibberish, but it's vowel sounds, because the most memorable part in a song is the vowel sounds. So if you can't remember the word, you remember the sound, right?
Yeah.
So I guess like that's like my subconscious way of doing it. But so I'll do it that way, and then it kind of comes together. But other times I'll be like usually in the car, not using my phone at the same time. But
of course not.
not trying to record myself while being on the anyways.
Absolutely not.
Not incriminating. But I'll be singing and the whole like verse lines come out with no instruments. I am write an entire song and then have to figure it out later, which is definitely harder.
Sure.
I find, but those songs are more intense, I find, because there's no limits at the time of you creating them. So yeah.
So it just really depends.
Yeah, it depends on the environment and the mood.
With a song like Cheap Cigarettes, how do you balance the storytelling with the emotional aspect to it?
That is a great question.
Thank you.
Wow.
You can take your time.
Okay. Yes. Wow. I think that you really have to imagine you're there while you're singing it, even if you're not. Like maybe it's something you've wrote a song, you've processed something later on, but a song like that, you really have to dig into the nitty gritty of your character while you're singing or performing it, because it's so emotionally like, it's like dumping your diary on somebody's lap and you're like, here you go.
Do you find that you kind of like, not float off to yourself, but you're kind of like, it's personal to you, it's emotional, it's raw. Do you find that you, to kind of help so that it's not as hard on yourself, create that story so then it's like, okay, well now it's this woman or this girl going through this, not necessarily me?
Oh no, I have to go right into.
You got to go right into you. Do the opposite.
I got to put that mirror right in front and just, or else it's not the same performance. I find
that's fair,
because sometimes like you'll write a song, like I have songs I've written when I was 15 that I still want to come out into the world, or I'll still play live, and like that's a very long, like, not to age myself, I'm not gonna say, I'm gonna reword that. But to kind of sing something you wrote when you're 15 versus in your 20s,
100%.
It's kind of hard to connect with that sometimes, but you got to go right back into the rewind. And I think being that emotionally honest with people all the time, especially in the music, only brings good, because somebody's going to feel it. So I'm just like, go full into it.
Yeah.
And give it the same like emotional integrity every time.
Oh, amazing. Yes, absolutely. Has your creative process changed as you've grown and gained more confidence as an artist, like you just said, writing songs at 15 versus writing songs now?
Yes. These are great questions.
Thank you.
Wow. I'm really having to like think about it.
We go deep here at Session.
Yeah.
It's a coffee chat.
Yeah.
But
it's a deep coffee chat. It's good. Once the caffeine hits, the answers get better too as you're going.
You get faster. More detail.
Like Hammy from Over the Head just gonna start
going
like
yes.
But it's definitely changed because I think now I don't care about looking cringy. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're 15, you're kind of like, you're very unsure of what you're doing all the time.
Yeah.
And then to like, again, give somebody your diary is like a very strange feeling. You're like, I'm not sure if people will like this. And then now I'm just like, people will like this if you're just who you are and you're just,
or the right people will like this.
Or you're just saying exactly how you feel. There's definitely other people that felt like that, you know. And sometimes people are just waiting for you to say something in words that they weren't able to say too. So it only brings good. And the more you overthink your creative process or way you create, the more you squash what is like the best human part about it. In that way. So.
Oh, absolutely. It's been really cool hearing kind of how you've got here, and like built this confidence as an artist and how you create and, just with everything building around you lately. I'd love to talk about that growth a little bit and kind of what this season feels like for you. So as an independent artist, look, now I'm someone.
It's contagious.
It's contagious. Oh no. As an independent artist, what's been the biggest learning curve for you so far? Like you said, it's been kind of a steamroll of events since the contest and everything. So, what have you found maybe even from then to now? Maybe not from like 15 to now, but like even just from that happening to where you are now releasing your song?
That's a great question. I think the best thing that I've learned along the way is to just do it. The more you overthink, you sabotage yourself. Like it is not good for the mental. It is not good for the people in the audience. And I heard somebody say sometimes you have like a performance where it's good for everybody else but not good for you. Like you're having a terrible time inside but like nobody else noticed. So, or like maybe you messed up and you're like, oh, like you're focusing on that's all anybody noticed and nobody heard that, because what you hear in your monitors is very different than what they hear out there. So there's a little bit of a change, but just go for it and just stop overthinking it, because you get in your own way. And from the performing side of things, I have so much more fun on stage now.
Good.
Because I'm like, and you actually mess up less.
Yeah.
When you're
not really thinking about it.
Yeah. When you're actually genuinely up there to just connect with people and give a great performance and have a great time yourself, it's 100% difference.
An audience feeds off energy, right?
Yes.
So, 100%. Like, I mean, sometimes, most of the time artists are like, I'm nervous and nobody can tell. But like you said, it's like, if you're being more confident, if you're being more into it, the audience feeds off that, right?
So I guess like that fake it till you make it type thing. Like convince yourself like this is going to be the bomb diggity. Yeah. It's going to be the bomb diggity.
Yeah. Yeah. With more eyes on you now, festivals, radio, media, does it change your approach to music? Does it change your approach to writing songs, releasing songs, or are you staying grounded in yourself because you're like, this is how I've done it and this is how I got here?
That one, because I think like if I analyze like the positives that have happened, the positives have come from me ultimately diving more into who I am and sharing that with people. I think if you're too guarded, especially like because they're watching on social media and stuff like that, if you're too guarded, people don't know you. And then like I know some artists that kind of have to pretend like there's one person on social media and one person, and I'm doing too many jobs to keep those separate. So the more I am myself, like on the internet and in my music, And, you know, whether it's a festival application or like you're on radio or a podcast or something like that, then the more you're yourself, the better it is for everybody. Just huge authenticity moving forward with that, for sure.
And I like that, right? Because I do feel with social media now, we as like the audience of social media, we feel like we know everybody, that it's kind of a weird feeling.
It's very strange
because, you know, even like I'll see somebody that I follow online, an influencer, and it's like, I don't know what to say to you because I feel like I know a lot about your life, but like I've never met you in person. And it's so, I think staying true to yourself as much as you can. And maybe just setting the boundaries on like, you can't live on social media the whole time. It's like, but staying true to yourself as an artist and who you are. Especially if your artistry isn't like a persona, because that can be a different thing. So that's a great answer. What is something people might not realize goes into putting out music independently?
Money.
I think
so much money. No, in all honesty, I do actually save a lot of money because I do my own audio engineering, and except for mixing, because I don't want to hear myself that much. Like, I'm good for the production and the recording, but once the mixing comes, just like, please, somebody else, please take this away. But it's a lot of there's a lot of hidden fees when you distribute stuff. They're like, it's going to be this much to distribute it. And then like, oh, there's this fee. And you got to do some playlisting and some pitching and some, you know, and it adds up really quickly. So the more you can be like a one-man band in that sense, is the better for an indie artist. Because when the time is right, you'll build a team and those things will come along. But the more you can do your own, you're self-sufficient, you know, it's a safer position to be in at that point in an indie career, in my opinion. But yes, it's the money, you know.
It hurts.
Save your money.
Before we wrap up, I always like to end our conversations with a quick rapid fire.
More caffeine.
Except these ones are fun. Like, you don't have to think, you just first thing that comes off your head.
Wait, is it gonna get my slurping sounds from? I hope so. No, that's hilarious. So just like,
they're pretty good. They're pretty good. But if it does, we'll
I'll keep them. It's hilarious.
Okay, go to drink order.
A Guinness.
Nice.
Yes, I'm a good Irish girl.
Okay, nice. And go to coffee order then.
If it's Starbucks, I'm a latte lady, but like my regular coffee is, again, it's dependent on the mood. It might be black coffee, a little, you know, some people say that's psychopath behavior.
No, I know,
if you're really tired,
you just need the straight coffee. I get it.
But most of the time, just a little creamer in there, and I'm a happy lady.
Nice. Winter or summer?
Summer.
So not this.
Not this. No, I do love winter, but not this.
Yeah, it's a lot. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Looking forward to that summer. Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Windows down or headphones on?
Windows down. Yeah, I have a convertible, so it's
amazing.
It's a 06 PT Cruiser.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Just throwback.
Going back in time. Wow. Sweet. Song you wish you wrote?
Man, I Feel Like a Woman.
Yes.
Then I wouldn't have to worry about the money.
Not with that one, no.
That's an anthem.
Oh my gosh. If you don't know that song, first of all, it's like Canadian staple. So.
Exactly.
Dream artist to open for?
Oh my god. Marion S. Trench. I know that's not a country artist, but I'm a big Canadian lady. Or Nickelback.
Oh my god!
Say what you want about Nickelback, but everybody knows at least 10 songs.
I love this so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Fabulous answers. Okay, guilty pleasure song.
Do you know Bada da Wada, like by Kid Rock? It's like Bada da Wada bang da bang.
Yes.
That comes on and like put it up to a 10.
Okay.
To a 10.
I'm learning so much about you.
There's
and
a lot
very unexpected things, and I think they're great.
Amazing.
One word to describe your song, Cheap Cigarettes.
Loud. You know, loud and just brutally honest, we could say.
Loud and honest. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me today and sharing your story with us. And honestly, it was just such a pleasure.
This was really fun.
This was
We're
super
gonna have to do
fun.
this again.
I think we will.
Yes.
Yes.
With even more coffee.
Yeah, more coffee. If people are just discovering you through this episode, where's the best place to find them, like find your music? And also, is there anything like up and coming for you after this release that you can share, or shall we just
I
have to follow you to find out?
You can. The best place to follow me is on Instagram because I have everything linked there. Yeah. But I maybe can not confirm that the song is out February 6th, but maybe there's something extra on February 24th. You might have to wait to see.
Stay tuned.
Spoilers.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's episode, our first one of 2026. More to come for sure. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to follow Makinna. She wants to hear from you guys.
Yes, I do.
And listen to her hit single, Cheap Cigarettes.
Yes, please do.
Take care. We'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.